Let us make man in our image, in our likeness. The book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 26, the Garden of Eden. In brief, passage. The book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 1 through chapter 2, verse 25. Creation of humanity is the theme. Setting, primeval period. Inside Eden during the time covered by the first chapters of Genesis. Key figures. Adam, the first man made in God's image, who was the ruler of animals and steward of the earth. Eve, the first woman and companion to Adam, created by God either at the same time as Adam or by using one of Adam's ribs. In chapter 2 of the book of Genesis, God creates the Garden of Eden, an earthly paradise. We cannot know Eden's exact location, but scholars have proposed several possibilities, including Mesopotamia, Iraq, Syria, Turkey, Iran, and Armenia. The book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 8, mentions the Euphrates and the Tigris rivers, which both flow into the Persian Gulf via Turkey, Syria, and Iraq. God creates the garden by bringing the streams up from the earth and filling the ground with plants that are pleasing to the eye and good for food. There are two trees in the middle of the garden, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The making of man. Genesis depicts the creation of humankind in two separate passages. The first of these, chapter 1, verse 27, is believed to have been written in the 6th century BC by the Jewish priestly writer referred to as P. is cursory. It implies that both sexes are formed at the same time on the sixth day of creation. So God created mankind in his own image. Male and female he created them. The second passage, chapter 2, verse 7, attributed to the oldest source of the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible, known as Yahwist or J, provides more detail and describes God in human terms. In this account, God forms the man out of dust and breathes into his nostrils the breath of life. God goes on to create Eve when he sees that it is not good for Adam, Hebrew for man, to be alone. Putting Adam into a deep sleep, God removes a rib from his side and creates a woman from it. Chapter 2, verse 21. Seeing that this new being closely resembles him, Adam composes a poem. This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken in a man. Chapter 2, verse 23. She is not referred to as Eve until Genesis chapter 3, verse 20, after eating the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Biblical references to God's image in which humankind is made are contradictory. Some passages ascribe human features such as arms, eyes, hands, and a beard to God and refer to him as walking in the garden, chapter 3, verse 8. Others depict him as a type of angel sheltering humans under his wings. More significant are the spiritual attributes shared by God and humankind, which include intellect, the capacity for rational thought, orality, free will, creativity, and compassion. Below is Michelangelo's God creates Adam from 1512, one of 9 scenes from the book of Genesis painted on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in Vatican City. Paradise. According to the Bible, the Garden of Eden is perfection itself, a place of beauty and abundance, free of disease, death, and evil, into which God sets Adam, the pinnacle of his creation. After around 500, this wondrous place becomes synonymous with the Hebrew term parades, orchard, stemming from the Persian word badidaida, walled enclosure. The concept of paradise is important within Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Even as he is dying on the cross, Jesus said to the thief hanging beside him, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." The book of Luke, chapter 23, verse 43. Jewish Talmud, the written version of oral law, associates paradise with the Garden of Eden. Within Islam, the concept of Hana or garden describes the destination of the righteous after death. Divine spark. Inherent in God giving Adam life through his divine breath is the implication that humans themselves, unlike animals, are blessed with the essence of divinity. Mankind's capacity for rationality and morality is the reason why no suitable companion could ever be found for Adam among the animals, and why God gave Adam and Eve responsibility to look after earth and rule over the animals. chapter 1, verses 26 through 28. In Judeo-Christian philosophy, these passages have been cited to justify humans using animals to serve their own needs. Yet, despite having divine spark and being created in God's image, Adam and Eve are flawed. The book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 26. God is everywhere. Proverbs, chapter 5, verse 21, and is superior to everything else in the universe. Psalms 115, verse 3. While Adam and Eve are limited. In the 13th century, the theologian Thomas Aquinas defined God as perfect, lacking nothing, immutable, infinite, unlike humans whom he described as spiritually, intellectually, and emotionally limited. Adam was placed in paradise in perfect state. God walked and did talk with him. John Jewel, born in 1522, died in 1571, Bishop of Salisbury. Original innocence. Although their flaws were revealed by subsequent events, Adam and Eve were created without sin and in complete innocence. The book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 25, tells us they are naked and unashamed. As they are alone with God, some readers assume that their days are centered around worshiping and communing with Him. Their relationship with God is unlike any other creatures. In addition to managing the animals and tending the garden, to work and take care of it, the pair are instructed to reproduce. Be fruitful and increase in number. For now, at least, Adam and Eve are content with their bountiful lives and observe God's one prohibition. While they are free to eat the fruit from the tree of life, which grants them immortality, to eat the fruit from the mysterious tree of the knowledge of good and evil will be on pain of certain death. Chapter 2, verse 17. One man, one woman. Adam and Eve are the first couple. Chapter 22, verse 24 and 25 says, the pair has become one flesh, and the union has traditionally been the yardstick for God's perfect intention for marriage. One man and one woman united in matrimony for life. Crucially, the affirmation in Genesis that both sexes are made in the image of God is often used to support the concept that God created all humans as equal regardless of gender, race, or any other characteristics. Yet the Bible is sometimes cited in support of claims that women are inferior to men. Chapter 2, verse 18 of Genesis refers to Eve's creation as Adam's helper, Ezer, and therefore potentially subordinate to him. However, some scholars suggest that Ezer should have been translated as companion, implying greater equality. The divine we. In Genesis and throughout the Old Testament, God is often talked about in the plural. For example, our likeness, Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. This has triggered much debate and many theories. Possible explanations include polytheism, meaning that God himself is referring to more than one God, although this is soundly refuted in passages such as Isaiah chapter 45, verse 6, where God states, I am the Lord and there is no other. Other explanations are that God is including his intended angels in the us of Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. Another explanation is that the plurals here and in Genesis chapter 3, verse 22, the man has now become like one of us, describe a conversation that God the Father is having with God the Son and God the Holy Spirit, the Trinity, a concept developed in the New Testament. Oh boy. Nope. Adam and Eve. The first human couple, Adam and Eve, were created as adults in the image of God. As they were not born in the same way as their descendants, they would not have needed umbilical cords. Despite this, navels are present in many artistic representations of the pair. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7 says that Adam is created out of dust. Adama is Hebrew for ground or earth, a reference to both Adam's origins and his fate after the fall. The word Eve means life. She and the man are inseparable, made from one flesh, as they come from the same body. Atoms are brought together both in marital union with each other and in full communion with God. Humankind's remarkable journey begins with Adam and Eve. Without them, there is no fall from grace or sin, and thereby no need for suffering, mortality, redemption, atonement, or Jesus Christ. Human origins. The creation of Adam and Eve and the events unfolding in the Garden of Eden are also described in the Islamic Quran. While many Christians reject a literal interpretation of Genesis in favor of a more allegorical approach that also encompasses evolutionary theories of creation, recent surveys in the United States have revealed a widespread belief in the existence of Adam and Eve. They are partly supported by a group of scientists who have traced human genetic history back many thousands of years, potentially to the first men and women. The Bible is clear, in Genesis and elsewhere, that Adam is the first man, not descended from other humans. Adam is referred to in the book of Luke, chapter 3, verse 38, as the Son of God, just as angels in the Old Testament are made by God. For example, Job chapter 1, verse 6, and chapter 38, verse 7, and the book of Daniel, chapter 3, verse 25. The Bible depicts Adam as a living entity with many descendants who, according to Genesis chapter 5, verse 5, lives until he is 930 years old.